Boom, here we are. Good evening, folks. Massive shout out to those people who are watching on the replay, or if you are listening on the replay, shout out to you, whatever you are doing. Do drop me a tweet at ActOnThisTV. Let us know where you're listening. I'm always intrigued when people catch up on the replay. I'm like, where are you listening? What are you doing whilst you are listening to this? So do let me know. And you guys who are here live, extra special shout out to you. Jason Hale's in the house, Mr. The Voice. Jace, how's it going, mate? I don't think I've heard from you for a while with what was going on with your acting like classes and stuff like that. I'll drop you a voice note in a bit, see where you're up to. Caitlin, how you doing? Hope you are good. Julie's here as well. Natalie's here. Josh is here. Everyone's in the house. If you were watching on the replay, why weren't you here? Come and join us one of these nights. Every Monday night we do this, 9 till 10. Got loads to discuss tonight. Going to be talking a lot about agents, in particular. The world, fingers crossed, is just about to open up again, isn't it? 19th of July. Do you know what I'm noticing? Something really interesting. Let me know what you think in the chat here, right? Because I think I'm seeing people with the wrong tactics playing out right now. Over the last kind of 6 months, a year, whilst we have been in this lockdown, whilst, you know, we've had our freedom limited to a certain extent, there's still been a lot of TV made, not anywhere near the capacity that the industry is capable of, but there's still been opportunities out there for those actors who wanted to hustle to get them. But I've noticed kind of like over the last year, Josh, you were just talking on Twitter about investing in yourself, you know, investing in your career. You really will get out what you put in. It's as simple as that. And I've seen people being quite willing to do that over the last 6 months, 12 months, you know, almost like whilst they had a limitation on how they were going to implement that investment effectively. You know, they sort of were gearing up that, you know, a lot of people in the Acts on this community have been learning, you know, about the business of the business. You know, we get the biggest casting directors and agents on every single week, and we chat about the business side of the business and how you can turn your talent ultimately into paid work. And I've seen people over the last 6, 12 months sort of like really embrace that and like really almost kind of like, you know, double down because they've had time on their hands. Now what I'm seeing, which is such a freaking shame. And I'm seeing conversations on Twitter and in Facebook comments, and I'm overhearing stuff, and I'm getting emails from actors and stuff. And I get it. Now the world is going to open up again. People want to get some normality back. I understand that. But I'm seeing people take the foot off the gas, stop investing in themselves, stop working hard on their careers at a point where it's probably never been more important to, because there's just going to be a whole barrage of opportunity, you know, put up for grabs effectively. And yet I'm seeing people go, nah, you know what, I'm going to cancel my spotlight because I'm going to, you know, for what? So I'm going to have a Pizza Express on a Wednesday night. Now I get it. I understand why you want to do that. You know, you want to get out and live a little bit. Of course you do. We all want to do. But why, at a point where it's like go time, are people stepping back? And yet whilst in lockdown, when they've not really been able to go, they've been stepping up, which is the right thing to do kind of all year round. It's almost like people are afraid of success more than failure. It's like, you know what, I'll kid myself that I'm going to invest and I'm going to go for it, whilst actually there's a limitation on what I can achieve right now. And then as soon as it's sort of all up for grabs again, people are like, whoa, it's a bit scary, that, isn't it? Actually, you know what, I'm going to stick to what I know, which is not having auditions or, you know, not really striving for what I want, because I get it. It's that in itself is still pretty scary, isn't it? Putting yourself out there when you know it could happen for you is way scarier than convincing yourself you're working when you know it's harder to make things happen for you. Do you understand? I don't know if I'm articulating myself very well, but ultimately the message is now is the time to knuckle down, double down, triple down, quadruple down on yourselves and your career, because in not even a month's time, what is it, 3 weeks, restrictions are going to be lifted. Why sort of like just, I don't know, go back to, I don't know, just not investing in yourself, or not, you know, doubling down and working hard in your career. There is going to be more and more opportunity out there. You know, yes, go and have a nice time, but don't just let it all go. Let's have it. Michelle says, I do. So you get it. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, don't you? I'm just seeing it, and I understand why, because people have been denied those freedoms for a long time. But I just think it's a shame that, you know, people are just denying themselves ultimately the success that I know that they could achieve. So we are going to be talking agents tonight. Last week on actonthis.tv, I brought on a fantastic agent for members of the community. We held a private Zoom call with Wendy Scozzaro from an incredible agency down in London, a boutique agency, but they still look after, I say boutique, but they've probably got about 300 clients. Quite a lot. Big agency for a smaller agency. And they look after some incredible people, though, who would fly in screen, TV, film, theatre as well. And we just had a really, really super honest chat about landing a real decent, mid to high level London agent, because I know it's the goal for a lot of people in this community. Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if you're here live on Facebook, if that is you. If one of your goals now lockdown is going to be lifted is to get solid quality representation, so that you can capitalize on the opportunity that's out there for the rest of this year. Let me know if that is you. If it is, you will want to catch up on this chat that we had with Wendy. I'm going to play some clips out tonight. Wendy's been an agent for 22 years. She, pulls no punches, says it exactly how it is, completely bullshit free. Answers from Wendy. If I go over to my web browser, I'll just show you. For members of actsonthis.tv, this feature is already on actsonthis.tv. If you click into your members area, you will see it, as always. I'll just click into premium membership. You'll see it at the top here, latest 5 features. So we've got the, and hopefully everyone's listening to that one now with Stephen Graham and Hannah Walters, the cast of Time and the crew of Time. That was a freaking incredible chat there. But this one with Wendy was this week. It's called Finding the Right Acting Agent for You. It's an hour and 37 minutes. And it's just a brilliant, open, honest chat. On, like I say, getting landing a quality agent. If you're not a member of actsonthis.tv, get a membership. It's £6 a week. I mean, we talk about investing in your career. It's peanuts. And you get to literally jump on Zoom calls with the biggest names in the industry every single week, learning from the best. But I'm going to play some clips out of that tonight. I've chosen, I think, 3 that I'm going to play out for you guys with just some salient points. I'm just going to check in the chat who's up for an agent. There's quite a lot of yeses in the chat. Robert said Wendy was really refreshing. Just quality, isn't she? Evening, Ethan. How you doing? Hope you're good. Martha said Wendy was so great to watch. Yes to live, says Danielle. I'm going to play these clips out now, and then I'm going to talk about what's on the bottom of my screen as well. This training that I've got coming up this Saturday. Don't worry if you're wondering what that is. I will come to that very, very shortly. And those listening on the audio experience, you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. But I'm doing a training this Saturday that you're going to want to get involved with. So the first thing that I want to play out from Wendy is just a clip about email. It seems to be the thing that trips actors up more than anything, really. It's almost sort of like the anxiety, crazy anxiety-inducing hurdle in this industry of like, holy shit, it's my job to market myself, it's my job to put myself out there, make sure that casting directors are aware I exist, it's my job to put myself out there to gain representation. But a lot of people are scared of doing it. And again, give me a comment in the chat if that is if that is you. Natalie says she's definitely in need of a new agent. Well, you're going to want to watch this, Natalie. And good evening, Alex, as well. Actors just overthink it. There really is. And I go through this probably multiple times a week with members of actsonthis.tv. You really don't have to overthink your email. I know there will be people in this chat who have been meaning to email casting directors and agents, and you haven't done it because you've overthought it. And you thought, you've convinced yourself with limiting beliefs about how you're not good at writing, how your punctuation's not good, how your spelling's terrible, how you never know what to say, you can't articulate yourself. Again, it's fear masquerading itself as practicality for a reason why you can't reach out. Probably you're just scared of a rejection, and I promise you, like a no from a casting director is never going to kill you. Neither is it from an agent. Here's just some very basic insight into email, again from one of the most experienced agents in the industry. So it's just not me just making it up. This is real quality advice from someone who knows what they're talking about. But just listen to how straightforward email really can be. Yeah. Is there even a right or wrong freaking way to do this, or actors just going mental? Like, what should I put in the subject line?
Just put representation and their name if they're sending an email. If it's that you're emailing an agency and you want it to be for somebody specific and you're sending to the generic email address, then maybe head it up for the attention of, and then representation and your name, so that hopefully your email will reach the right place.
What are the 3 most important things to include in my email when writing to an agent, or you specifically, Wendy?
Definitely need to send your spotlight link, and please send it as a hyperlink. a short paragraph about why you want, why you're writing in, why you want rep. Let them know if you're already represented. Let them know if you've left your agent. Let them know what your current situation is with your agent. And then just let them know a bit about anything else that is relevant. Like you said, Scandi actor living in, London or whatever it is. Let them know whatever else it is that is your hook outside of what you have on your Spotlight CV, etc. Everyone's got a hook, figure out what that is and present it to them.
What questions should I ask an agent if I get a meeting with them?
Figure out what you want from an agent. And that sounds like a really stupid question, perhaps, or an obvious question. It really isn't, because every actor wants something different. Of course you want work, that's a given. That's not what we're talking about. But it goes beyond that. There's what else are your expectations? What are they? And be honest about what they are. And then the agent has got the opportunity to tell you whether they feel they can give you that or not, rather than you just assume that that's on the table. And then it's no different than any other relationship, is it? Just have a proper conversation about it. So, I think that's more personal. Figure out what it is you want from the agent, because they're going to ask you the questions about what they want. They'll know what they want from you. And it's your job to figure out what you want from an agent.
Boom. Simple. See, it doesn't have to be. The amount of actors who don't send the email because they want to check what they should put in a subject line before they send it. I get that asked of me all the time. What should I write in the subject? As if like it's some sort of, secret code. You've got to write something specific or funny or witty or something attention grabbing or whatever. It just needs to be really, really practical, so an agent at a glance knows exactly what you want, so that you are not putting any friction between them, reading your email or not. I'm going to go through the 3 things that Wendy said there to include in your email. I can say Tony says there about rejection. He says, you're just talking about my dating life. Yours and mine, Tony. Yours and mine. So the 3 things, would be, so subject line literally could be your name, seeking representation. Simple as that. You could put a little bit of the hook that she mentions that I'm going to go through in a second in that email as well. So I was talking, you heard her there talk about Scandi actor. I was talking about a Scandinavian actor living in London that I know, and I was like, that's actually a bit of a hook because that's a little bit different. So you could write, Scandinavian actor in London seeking representation. That just gives like a little bit of the hook in the subject. But most subject lines can be super, super simple. Literally just your name. I see Michelle here. I've just seen your comment, Michelle. So Michelle Parker seeking actor seeking representation, etc., etc. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing she mentioned there in the email, obviously, your Spotlight link. If you're on Spotlight, if you're not on Spotlight, it's totally cool because there's going to be a lot. There are agents without a doubt, and Wendy is still one. She has taken actors on who have not been on Spotlight because she's believed in them so much, and she has helped them get those credits to get on Spotlight. Okay, it's not going to happen all the time. It's preferable if you've got Spotlight because an agent can submit you for jobs way easier. But it shouldn't stop you reaching out initially. I know we've had lots of agents on who have done that. For actors, they've taken actors who are not on Spotlight and help them get gigs to get them on Spotlight if they believe in the talent enough. So if your show reel is banging and you're like, look, I'm incredibly talented, but I didn't train anywhere that's accredited, so that I didn't get Spotlight. I didn't get qualify for Spotlight straight away, or you just haven't amassed those credits that you need for Spotlight yet. It's still worth writing to agents if you're freaking good. But if you are going to put your Spotlight link in, Wendy's so right there. See, a lot of actors put in the Spotlight pin. Hardly anyone knows what to do with Spotlight pins. I don't even know why Spotlight still offer that as a thing. Your pin's normally like a 12-digit sort of code that you have to put on the end of spotlight.com / I think it's profile / and then the Spotlight pin. Ain't no one got time for that. Just actually give them the actual direct link to your profile, so that again, there's no, there is no friction between them seeing your email, clicking it, and then seeing your work. If you're not on Spotlight, maybe you're on Mandy, Star Now, wherever your profile lies online. Second thing, short paragraph on why you want rep from that agent. Wendy spoke a lot the other night about research. This is something that I don't see actors do a lot of. They just carpet bomb the entire industry looking for any agent to have them, settling for anything in order to say they have something. Tony, it's like your dating life. It's like you settling for the first woman you see, as opposed to, researching what you really want from a relationship. Don't settle for anything just to say that you've got something. So that's, that you want to do your research. Why are you writing to that agent? Do they have clients who recommended them? Have you seen their clients in stuff that you really, really like, that, you vibe with? Have you, reached out to them for a specific reason, and if there's a specific agent within the agency, why are you reaching out to that particular agent? There's 4 agents at Felix de Wolfe. So is it Wendy? Is it Caroline that you're reaching out to? Is it Rob or is it Dom? Who are you reaching out to with, within that agency, and why? And if it is a particular person, obviously you can put, for the attention of whoever it is in the subject line. And then the thing that I think actors struggle with the most is the hook. Loads of people are like, well, what's special about me? I promise you, I know it sounds cliched as hell, but there's something special about every single person on this stream right now, whether you're here live or you are listening back on the replay or watching back on the replay or whatever. You've just got to find what your hook is. Tony, if you were over here, your hook would definitely be Chicago actor in Manchester. That's your hook, mate. That's different. For other people, it could be a skill that you have. It could be languages that you speak. All kinds of different things. Specialist skills. Maybe there's people on here, I don't know, maybe you're some sort. I saw an actor before on Twitter who was incredible at martial arts. That's not going to be specific for every job, is it? You're not going to write to Jenny Radcliffe, casting director of Coronation Street, and go, "Hi, am I a black belt in karate?" I mean, you could mention it, but it's definitely a hook in terms of, for certain jobs, that is going to be a skill that's required. Maybe you drive a particular vehicle, or you are a champion horse rider, whatever. Everybody has a hook, and you might think there's nothing special about you at all, but I promise you, if you look for something, you look hard enough, you will find it. You'll have a special skill. You'll be from a certain area. You'll have a certain accent. There'll be something about you that is your hook. That's what you need to, you need to discuss. Let's have a look. I'm missing a lot in the chat, folks. I do apologise. I only get to see a few comments on Facebook before it all just whizzes off. The other thing is, once you get a meeting, is realise that, you have to be... I made this mistake, right? You have to be completely honest and upfront with what you want from your agent, okay? Again, not settling for anything in order to say you have something. I did not tell my agent, Jane, and this was a mistake. Luckily, she's lovely and she understands. I didn't tell my agent I didn't want to do theatre. When I signed with them, I've got an eye condition. It makes theatre very difficult. I don't see very well in the dark. I've got no peripheral vision. My eyes are getting worse. There's nothing I can do about it. And I just prefer TV because it's a lot more comfortable. I can put beanbags down instead of marks on the floor so I can feel where I'm going to hit. I can go again if a take goes off for whatever reason. I wanted to do TV and I wanted to do film. Didn't have any interest in theatre, but I didn't have the balls to tell Jane in the meeting because I was like, well, I'm just going to, she's not going to take me on. If I say, well, basically, I don't want to do half of the work out there, then she's not going to sign me. And the reality is, of course, she would have done if she wanted to, because she wants to get me the work that I want to get. But it meant that the first audition Jane sent me to, and I've probably told this story before, was one of the worst experience. Well, not worst experience of my life. Of course, it wasn't. One of the cringiest moments of my life. It was for a physical theatre piece. God, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't do any of the things they were asking me to do. They wanted me to cartwheel around the room. I could barely do a roly-poly. It was basically look at Ross fail doing physical theatre. It was a good laugh. We all laughed at me, and I could laugh at myself. But had I said to Jane in the meeting, Jane, don't want to do theatre, she wouldn't have sent it to me. So when I phoned her on the way home, peeing my pants, going, Jane, that was one of the craziest things I've ever done. She was just laughing, going, oh my God, you should have just told me. So you have to be brave enough to be honest with your agent when you are, when you are in those meetings, so that you both know up front what you want, and then your agent knows if they can give you what it is you want, okay? Because you might be the other way around. You might want to do theatre, and you might want to do West End theatre. You might want to do musicals and this sort of stuff, and then you sign with an agent in Manchester who just focuses on TV and film. Not going to be able to get you in that West End stuff. So you've got to be honest. I have made the mistake where I haven't been, and I promise you, it is painful. So that's the first clip that I wanted to play out. I say this, an hour and 37 minutes, the full chat with Wendy. If you go to actonthis.tv, you can listen to the whole thing or watch the whole thing back. But that was the first clip. The second clip I want to play through is something that would stop a lot of actors from even reaching out to an agent. And how many people here have done this? Maybe you have been browsing during your research, which you have to do, you must do, when you are researching agents who you want to rep you. Maybe you've been browsing their client list, because everyone's client list generally is on their website, and you've seen one or two other people on their list, and you're like, oh, God, that's a spitting image of me. There's a guy who's, for me, it'd be like, oh, well, there's some, a 5'10", brown-haired Manchester actor, and you've gone, oh, okay, yeah, they've got a few people like me. So you haven't reached out to them. You've called that like a no. You've gone, nah, or you've had a look down the client list and you've seen lots of clients and you've gone, nah, they've got too many clients. Too many clients. They can't possibly be getting work for all of those clients. We had someone ask a great question to Wendy about how many clients is too many clients for an agent. And Wendy's answer is really, really interesting, because ultimately, unless you work in the office, you don't know how it works. So you should never not reach out for some sort of made-up fear that you have in your head. But here's Wendy's explanation of this, and we'll talk about it in a second.
Do you think there's a max number of clients that an agent can reasonably manage? So do you think it's a red flag if in my research I find that an agent reps like 70 clients, for example?
I would say no is the answer to that, because you have no idea the capacity that they rep people in. So I've got, for instance, on my list, I've got clients that are based overseas. So a lot of their staff is limited to roles that just want an actor from that region. So there's very few things that come in for that. So it's more to do with meeting the agent, trusting them, feeling they've got time for you. It's rare for an agent to take on more clients than they can manage, because you've got to remember they've only got so many hours in the day, so they want them all working. So if you trust them and you've met them and you feel that that's a valid relationship, speak to some of their clients, find out how that works for them. They're the best people to tell you whether it works or not. But I don't think as an actor you can sit and go, well, they've got too many clients, it's not going to work. Because like I say, you might look after an actress that's a full-time mum, so she's only free for X, Y, and Z. So there's lots of different niches within repping people that you work with. And a good agent is well able to judge how much time they have, etc., etc. So no, you need to be guided more by your gut and chat to the actors that they look after already.
There you go. Pretty simple. Ultimately, the answer is you don't know. You don't know how many clients on that list that you are looking at are based in the UK, are already working. I mean, the thing is, ideally, like Wendy said, they need their clients working. You might look at the client list, think, oh, there's 100 actors on that list. It's only a small agency. 50 of them should be working. So the agency only really has to look for work for 50 of them until the other 50 are out of work, and then the cycle kind of continues. Some of those might be based abroad, like Wendy said, so they might only be able to get jobs based abroad if she's repping people in Europe or the States. So ultimately, if you really like the look of an agency, don't be put off if you think, oh, they've got too many clients, because you don't know how many people are in the office, who's looked after by who, where these people are based, who's working, who isn't working. Don't let that little voice in your head talk you out of reaching out to an agent that you really like the look of, just because you think, oh, they've got, they've got loads of clients. Equally, if you do see somebody like you on the books, this depends on the size of the agency. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if they've got, another person who is like you, who is in your casting bracket, who you would be up against in auditions, a lot are so prepared to take on another one or two of that type, because ideally, like I say, you should be working, and then the other two are out of work, so you're not available to go to those auditions. They're going to need somebody to go up for those roles when the other person is working, ideally. So that was just quite an interesting question. I thought something that we've not really covered a lot on actonthis.tv before. I'm just going to dive into the comments. Zoe says, if you don't hear back from an agent, can you email them again, or is that seen as being too needy? No, I mean, it would depend on the length of time, Zoe. So like Wendy says on this broadcast as well the other night, she was like, look, I can't reply to every single email that I get. I mean, it's just impossible. Most agents get sort of like, 20 to 40 representation requests a day if they're decent agents. So she just replied to all of those. Like, she'd have no time to get any of her clients any work. But, you will find, because it's within their interest to, most 99% of agents read all representation requests that they get, or they will go through a filtering process. Everything should get read. So, you can also, there's lots of software out there. This is something that I take actors through who are members of Acts on This. I've got a little a program coming up where we're going to talk about this, about email tracking. If you do a little Google on email tracking, there are pieces of software that you can get that would at least show you if your email has been opened and if it has been read and any links within that email have been clicked. And that means you can rest assured without having to write back that, you know it's been seen. And if, they've not replied to you, maybe they're just not at a point where they can rep you right now, or they've filed you away in a box somewhere to come back to at another point. But if you wanna, if you've got something new to say and you want to reach out and get back in touch, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. 4 or 5 months later, once you've sent your email out, and you can. I mean, it depends. If you really, really want to sign with this particular agent, Guy Howe said this when we had him on from WGM Atlantic. He's the CEO of that agency. He said that if you would metaphorically bleed for this agent, like you really, really want to be with them, and you sent an email and it was 4 weeks ago and you had no reply, or 5 weeks ago or whatever, I guess there's not really any. It depends how sort of like bold you want to be, but there'd be no reason you couldn't just make a quick call to say, just checking how often you go through representation requests, and if I sent a rep request in, giving your email address and say, could you possibly tell me, has it been read, or has that already been processed? I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for what you want from the industry. They can just say no. If you do it politely and in the right way, and not in like some weird overbearish kind of, sort of like stalkerish kind of way, Zoe. But yeah, if you've got something new to say and something fresh, definitely reach out again. I've never signed with an agent off the first email that I've sent. I've always had a rejection the first time. And then I've I've worked on myself, worked on my career, worked on self-tapes, got jobs, etc. And then I've gone back to that agent and said, I wrote to you 6 months ago, it was a no. I've just done this, I've just done that. Here's another tape that I've done. Just reaching out to see, if maybe there's a gap in your list now. Maybe one of your clients has emigrated or quit, or, is no longer with the agency. You just don't know, definitely. Michelle says the Guy Howe chat was brilliant, so helpful. If you haven't listened to it, please do so. The Natalie Payne one too. Yeah, in the members area on Acts on This, you'll find quite a... I'll bob back over to the website quick. So what you'll find is in the members area, you'll have categories of here's all the features you get access to. It's like Netflix for the acting industry, basically. Features with just some incredible people. So you've got this whole section here, features with agents. And we've even got voiceover agents here as well, acting agents. But these are some of the biggest agencies in the game. There's Lizzie Ferguson from Hamilton Adele, another big London agency. But equally, we've got more boutique Manchester agents, more boutique London agents. There's a Natalie Payne one. Natalie's a fantastic agent, and there's more as well. If you click on Show More, there's another page of agents as well. And we're adding to these like all the time. So get yourself over there. If you remember, get stuck into the members area. Listen to all of these. The reason why you should listen to every one is because everybody's tastes are different. There's no point in me putting one feature with an agent up there and going, that's it, one size fits all, because it doesn't. What one agent likes, the other one might not. And it's the same for casting directors as well. It's why I bring, these top people on every single week, different people every single week, because it's different for everybody. We're all subjective. We've all got different, different tastes and different likes and dislikes, etc. God, it's 5:30 already. Time is flying by. Third piece, quickly, that I want to play you guys out. Oh, this was an interesting one. Let me know what you... I don't know if I've really ever thought about this properly, but let me know if you have. Have you ever thought of what your strike rate should be as an actor in terms of how many jobs you should be booking depending on the number of auditions you get? So say, for instance, you get 10 auditions. Have you ever thought how many jobs you should be booking out of those 10? And do we think that's a useful thing to do? Or is it something to aim for? Is it just putting pressure on you? I don't know. Do you have expectations on yourself? Are you like, you know what, I should be getting 40%, so I should be getting 4 out of the 10 auditions that I have. If I'm not booking 4 of the 10 auditions that I get, I'm losing, I don't even know. I'd have to figure out. I'd have to try and like work backwards of what my strike rate would be. It's not been great this year though. I booked a job this week, which is pretty good. I'll tell you about in a second. I've got a role on a new BBC drama that's coming up that I actually self-taped for 5 weeks ago, and I only found out I got the job on Friday, I think, last week. So never write off a self-tape as well. You never know. Always kind of forget about it, but this came back like 5 weeks later. But I don't know. Before that, I taped for some really good projects and I hadn't booked any of them. So I don't know what my strike rate is really. I've not really thought about it. But what's Caroline saying? I think about strike rate all the time, says Caroline. Sam says, depends how far in your career you are. Alex says, hard to say. I never seem to get auditions. We can help you with that, Alex. Get involved in the community. We can help you with that. Get on these mastermind sessions every week. It might be useful for some, but it would trigger a lot of anxiety. Pressure, says Nat. Thanks for the congrats, Delaney. Yeah, it's I'm happy to. I was there was 2 roles I went for. This one is smaller out of the 2 that I taped for, but I was like, I've got to get one of them. So it was good to get one of them. Tony says, great question. I think it's great to track and look at data and numbers. But I also think we can go on streaks of not looking and streaks of lots of bookings, so I wouldn't get down on not booking in a specific number of auditions. And Julie says, no, Ross, I don't really know. 1 in 3 recently, perhaps, would cause me anxiety, says Zoe. It's interesting. Well, someone asked it to Wendy, and I think you'll be happy with her answer, because I think ultimately, it's probably not all that helpful. It's kind of, to keep I think the goal for me, I was going to say, to keep tabs on numbers is probably, kind of gives you an indication. But I think for me, it's more about actually getting the opportunities. And I don't think there's any opportunity that's wasted. As long as, you either win or you learn, don't you? We said that on this mastermind session as well. You don't fail. I don't like to use the word like lose or, anything, get like, it's just an outcome, innit? So you either win or you learn and you'll get better for next time. And sometimes there's definitely been auditions that I've had where I could never have done any better. I had one very recently for a Channel 4 drama. Really big part as well. Worked my backside off on the audition and gave it everything. Really happy with it. There's nothing I would have changed. And I didn't get it. And I'm like, well, I was never, ever going to get that role. I'm so okay with it because it was never, ever going to be mine. So me focusing on that as a negative on a strike rate is pointless because it was never going to be mine. Because if they, whatever they needed, I never could have given them because I gave them everything in the audition. I was buzzing after the audition. When you've done a good one, don't you? You're like, nailed it. Didn't get it. So it's cool. So yeah, I don't know. Here's Wendy's answer, but it's quite interesting on strike rates.
Is there a minimum number of auditions that you expect an actor to be getting for things to be working?
There's so much at stake with an audition. It's not all the actor's responsibility. There's other things that come to play. You may be the best person that's been in the room for that role, but they've just cast the other role with an actor that looks exactly like you, so they can't have you for that role, and you're not in control of that. The only thing you're in control of is to be on time, be prepared, be polite, deliver a good audition. That's it. Outside of that, you have no control over it. So no, we don't operate at strike rate. And I think it's a harsh thing to operate because even very successful actors have dry periods. Even top actors have to compete against each other for those top roles. They're not just dished out. You read all the time, so-and-so, about films made whenever. So-and-so was offered it first. I was like the fifth choice for it or whatever. It's not just actors at the lower end of it. I kind of compare the business to a funnel. When you start out, you're at the wide neck of it. Loads of actors, loads of roles. And as you move down your career, you're getting down into it, and then you get into the neck of the funnel, and it's really narrow. So there's less roles and less of you competing, but the competition is still there. It still exists in the same format. That's why so many actors that are A-listers start their own production companies, because they're fed up having to compete. They want to make their own stuff, stick themselves in it.
If you're not getting the auditions to start off with, I assume that you go back to that strategy that you said before, check your headshot, check.
Yes, totally. Because that's your shop front, isn't it? So check why, you're not got that footfall, why it's not happening. Sometimes actors will sit on their headshots and they'll be 10 years old and you're like, oh my God, come on, we've all changed in that time. There's like a muscle memory with photos. So when a casting director sees photos, if there's a new photo of somebody, it stands out just because the muscle memory isn't there for the photo that it was. So it's important to always update that. And, you know, if you change your hair, update it. If you change your weight, anything that changes that's significant, change your photos. Otherwise, you'll be called in for the parts you're not right for, and you won't be called in for the parts you are right for.
That's on this.tv. Get a membership if you want to watch the full hour and 40-minute chat with Wendy. But yeah, you know, it's the same for all actors. I like that, and that sort of like things you said about the funnel. You know, when you're starting off your career, you're at the neck of the funnel. There's loads of actors in competition, loads of roles that are out there. As you sort of, you know, build your career and you go down, you know, you end up sort of like with less competition, but, you know, you're going to be looking at more of the lead roles. There's going to be less roles available for you. So, of course, even A-list actors are competing all the time with each other. They're never going to get everything. Their strike rates are probably going to be a similar rate to yours. So it's a forever game, innit? You don't need to worry about it. If you're like, oh, you know, I've had 5 auditions and not booked any of them, just hang in there. You're doing something right to get the 5 auditions. A casting director is believing in you 5 times. An agent, or even if you're not with an agent, it doesn't matter. You know, you're believing in yourself. Someone is seeing something in you to give you that opportunity. And if you do the work, and I'm going to play a clip at the end of this from Stephen Graham talking about the work. I had Stephen on doing a great feature the week before last. If you are doing the work, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. It's the same thing I say that happened to me with this job. You know, I've been taping this year, doing good jobs, just nothing's been popping. Nothing. And I'm like, no, I just got to hang in there. Just got to keep delivering the goods, doing the work, delivering the work, and something will happen. And then boom, out of the blue, you know, I get booked on Friday. So you've got to hang in there. Caroline says, if your goal is to work, then you have to count the opportunities. Yes, exactly, but it's got to be because they lead to bookings. Completely agree. It's a sales funnel. Has to be as wide as possible at the top, but also at the bottom. And Caitlin says, I'm hoping to get my new updated headshots emailed to me soon, so that would help with me getting work, as well as a short film I filmed this weekend. Yeah, you know, so it's a forever game. You just take the opportunities you've got. You know, if you turn them into work, use that work to get the next thing, to get the next thing, to get the next thing. You know, that's the way that this industry works. For those people who want to know more about agents, right, and want to learn particularly about like the big boys and girls in London, like, okay, I've had a lot of people messaged me recently saying, will you get agents on from sort of like the big 5 agencies? We've had people on from Hamilton Adele before, but people want people from like United, like Independent, Curtis Brown. So that's what I'm doing now, okay? And we've got an incredible guest tomorrow night. If you remember that's on this.tv, you're going to get to join this tomorrow evening at 7:30. If you're not, get a membership, you can join us. We've got an incredible agent, Mildred Yuan from United Agents, is going to be live with us tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. This woman is incredible. She looks after some awesome actors. Also looks after some casting directors, I think, and some directors and some presenters. So just incredible creatives. This is 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. Mildred is going to talk us through like not being intimidated by the big agents. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, United, it's, you know, it's a closed shop, it's not for me, it's reserved for the very few, the elite. You'd crap yourself if you ever had to reach out, or you'd defeat yourself to the point where you never ever reach out to these people for rep anyway, because you never think you're going to get it. We're going to walk through what you need to show these guys ultimately, and what you need in your career in order to sign with, you know, the biggest actors, not the biggest actors, the biggest agents, literally on the planet. You know, United is one of the biggest agencies on earth. They look after hundreds of A-list actors. And Mildred is just like, she's one of the most intelligent people I think I've ever met in my life. She's got BAs and MAs coming out of her ears in business and finance and economics, I think. That was a background in banking. She used to be like a world champion ballroom dancer, I think, as well. Then got into agenting in 2012, I think, nearly 10 years ago. But Mildred is going to talk us all through United Agents, basically, how the agency works, all the inside goss, but then also she is going to walk through a presentation. She's the only guest I've ever had who wants to bring their own slides. Normally I create slides slides for these presentations. She's bringing her own, and it's all about discovering your superpower, that hook that Wendy was talking about before, and how you market yourself. Mildred is an expert in helping you discover what that is for you, and then marketing it and making it effective within your marketing so that, you do get interest from casting directors and from agents. It's going to be an incredible session, 7:30 p.m. Tomorrow night. If you want to be there, go to actonthis.tv/live. You can check out the schedule as well. We've got some incredible guests coming up. Get your membership if you've not got membership already, and join us on Zoom tomorrow night. I want to see your beautiful face live on the session. So that's this week. We've got Johnny Weldon coming up next week. For those people who have seen Johnny's fans of Johnny's work on Twitter, he's the guy who does all the parodies of actors' life on Twitter. He did a great one today, like a drama school reunion. Johnny is going to be with us next week. We've got Colleen Crawford, and one of the best casting directors in the industry, coming on in a couple of weeks. She's got loads and loads of top guests. But yeah, if you want to be there, actonthis.tv/live, go get membership, and I'll see you tomorrow evening. The other thing, there's a few more things. It's going fast, and it's 1:45 already. A few more things I want to talk about before we wrap it up. This web address you see on the bottom of your screen right now, actonthis.tv/training. I am running, this will probably be the last time I do this year. I did this a month ago. 500 actors turned up, but I could only get 500 people on Zoom. I know there's a lot of people, I think 580 people registered, and my account can only hold 500. So I'm going to run it one more time. This training is for any actor who is looking to get their first TV role this year, right? This is for action takers, not dabblers. We're not faffing around, right? If you are genuinely committed to kicking some ass in your life and your career this year, like I say, you're not mucking about. Go to actonthis.tv/training. It's totally free. I'm going to take people through this Saturday the exact blueprint for how I landed my first 15 TV roles. And I'm going to show you what the roles are. I'm going to show you exactly how I marketed myself, the showreel kind of stuff that I shot, how I reached out to casting directors, what I put. I'm going to show you basically how to market yourself properly within this industry, because I know a lot of people just are not particularly good at that. Creatives themselves tend not to be great at business. They sort of they have the creative side, but the business side they don't really like, or they don't really know much about. I'm going to show you how I did that. And you know what? It's not just for these 15 roles, right? I absolutely used these tactics to book this role on this BBC drama 2 weeks ago. 100, and you know what? I can't go into too much detail yet because the show's not been announced. But when it is announced, it will become so obvious to you guys why I got. Well, how I'm going to tell you what I did to market myself, but it's going to become so obvious why I got this role, in the way that I put myself out there and the way that I presented myself to these casting directors. So if you want to be there, actonthis.tv/training, just pop your email address in. I need that to send you the Zoom link. You're going to get a Zoom link automatically sent to you within the next 3 or 4 minutes if you pop your name and email into the form that's on that page, actonthis.tv/training. Keep that Zoom link safe. I will drop you a reminder on Saturday, well, maybe Friday night, Saturday morning, to let you know that that's going on. But be there. It's awesome. And I'm also going to show you guys as well at the end of that training a wicked 2-day event that I'm holding in August as well, for actors who really want to go, well, ultimately just want to go so deep on it that I practically guarantee you. I can never say guarantee, can I? If you're good and you put the work in, give you the best shot of landing this TV role this year. It's so doable. I took a small group of actors through this training last year. 6, 7, 8 of them have now got a role on the TV show that they wanted to be on. Petch, you'll know from the Acts on This community. He's the guy who edits the videos for me. He went through this training last year. He literally is going to be on Coronation Street tomorrow or the day after, I think. Look out for him. Lee Petcher. He's got a day player role on Corrie. It might be in 2 episodes. I think it falls in the episode that is split into 2. Or they play 2 out in one night. So, he's probably in 2 episodes, which is pretty cool. But yeah, actonthis.tv/training for that. Try to think if there's anything else. What else have I got on my list? Oh, I've got one more thing to play for you guys in a minute. But I'll do that in a minute. Let's take a little bit of a Q&A. Delaney says, definitely be there. Be there, Delaney. Honestly, it's decent. So Raya rhymes with fire. That's how I remember. Yes, this is an encore of the training that I did last month because people missed it. So if you were at the training last month, I think we did it on the 5th of May, something like that. We did it in 5th of June, of course, 5th of June, because this is going to be July when we do this. So yeah, if you were here on the 5th of June, it's the same training. It will literally be 99% the same. It's just because I know people missed it. I need to upgrade my Zoom account so I can have more than 500 people on it, but it's bloody expensive. It's like really dear. Zoom get you. They start you off for free, and then they go, oh, it's fine. Upgrade to 50 people for just $14.99. You think, oh, this is well cheap. $14.99 for 50 people. And then by the time you're getting up to 500 people, suddenly they go, yeah, it's like 400 quid a month. And you're like, oh, okay, it's quite a lot of money. So I'm just going to run it again because I know there were people who couldn't be on the session last time. It's probably not going to be recorded, guys. I always say this, but it's just because I need people to turn up. I know if I say I'm going to record it, and I record it, that people just would be like, oh, I'll watch it whenever. So I'm not going to record it. I don't want to sound horrible, but it's called Act on This. The whole community is about acting on and committing to shit and doing stuff, not like, oh, I'll do that whenever, you know. It's not called Act on This, you know, when you can be asked. It's like, come on. We're about action taking. We're an inspired, motivated group of people who get shit done. So Saturday morning, 10 a.m. It's, you know, it's not early. Have a little, you can even have a little lie in, definitely. But if you were there last month, if you were there on the first one, it's the same. So you don't need to worry about that. You've probably seen it, but I hope you're implementing it. If you were there last month, Raya, rhymes with fire, you better be implementing this into your career to get results. Right, I'll do a little bit of Q&A. We've caught up a little bit. We've got 12 minutes. The video what I play out is only about 3 minutes, so we can probably do about 8 minutes of Q&A if you want. Right, what else is going down? Anybody got any questions on agents? So like, where are you at? And also like, you know what I was saying before about people almost sort of like taking the foot off the gas now restrictions are going to be lifted. And I understand, you know, they want to go out with their mates and they want to, you know, sort of live a little bit because that's been taken away from them for a bit. But please don't, like, you're making a mistake if you are neglecting your career within the next 6 weeks to go and have a jolly and to go and have a nice time and, you know, buy your bottles of wine, have pizza and do all this stuff, because there really is. I'm at a read through this Thursday for a brand new 6-part drama. I was at one last week for an 8-part Netflix drama. There's so much stuff being made and being cast right now. And it's not even at capacity. You know, we're not back to what we used to be like. Now when restrictions lift, like, we're going to, more and more stuff's going to be going into production. And now is the time to hustle. Not a time to just go, oh, well, yeah, we got through it. Now let's just throw everything away that I've worked for. I look at it, I'm just like, oh, God. You're looking for instant gratification as opposed to... A lot of people justify, like, you know, and I understand it, like, money, you know, I was starting off in my career many years ago. I didn't have any money either. Working for, I think I was getting paid £5.75 in a shop. You know, I was still living at home, paying my mum rent, but I didn't have a lot of money. And it was so easy to go, oh, this is just too hard, sack this. I'm just going to go to the pub with my mates, going to go to Curry Club on a Monday at Wetherspoons, going to go pub quiz on a Thursday or whatever. And I realised that if I was going to continue to do that, my life was never, ever, ever going to change. And I had to sacrifice some of that instant gratification for investment now, hard work now. So later on down the line, I could go to the pub whenever I wanted. But it required me to just knuckle down and hustle now. And if you do that and you get your shit together and you start booking work on TV, one line, Petch had like 8 lines on Corrie, got paid over 500 quid for that. You know, if you get your voiceover reel done and you start booking voiceover work, you know, you can earn, I mean, like, on average, honestly, like a minimum of 250 quid an hour. And you know, and I was working for £5.75 an hour, you know, so just get 1 hour of voiceover work a week, probably paying what I used to get paid, you know, for a whole week's worth of work in my part-time job. But until I actually committed to getting that shit done, it was never going to change, you know. So sometimes you've got to kind of just stop bullshitting yourself and have a look and audit your accounts. I remember sitting down and going, right, what am I wasting money on? And oh my God, I found so many things. I was paying, do you know one thing, right? I was paying phone insurance, 10 quid a month for a phone that I hadn't had for 2 years. I was still paying it. Because if you don't cancel this stuff, it just keeps going out of your bank. But I hadn't even noticed, you know? So that was like 240 quid that I just thrown away on phone insurance that, like, I didn't even have the phone anymore. You know what I'm like? I'm a bit of a bugger for coffee, even today. I spend probably too much on Costa and Starbucks and that sort of stuff. Maybe you're spending 60 quid a month on a gym membership you're not using, and you could go to a slightly, smaller, not as fancy gym down the road for 30 quid a month or whatever. Maybe you could walk to work rather than getting Uber. Have a look at what you're putting money into and what you could stop doing, and then you could invest that in Headshot, Showreel, Acts on This membership, Spotlight, equity. I know there's a lot of things to pay for as an actor, but there is in any job. It's not like we're any different. Doctors don't go, got to buy a white jacket and a stethoscope. Oh, God, it's so out of order. Plumbers got to spend £1,000 on tools. Everyone has shit to buy. It's not just actors. Sometimes I feel like we can get a bit woe me, as in like, oh, it's such a hard life. You chose to do this. It's tough psychologically, but we all came into this game with our eyes open, knowing what was going to happen. A life full of rejection, basically. But it's a roller coaster because you get that odd elation, that odd high, and it just makes up for all of that stuff. So you just got to stay in the game. But please, knuckle down. Did you cut down on Starbucks, Sam? Yeah, I mean, nowadays I'm fortunate. I don't waste money on anything unnecessary, and I'm doing well enough in my acting career and voiceover career that I can have, if I wanted a £4 Starbucks, I can have one. But when I didn't have the money, yeah, absolutely I didn't. I remember going to, when I worked in Game, that shop I was talking about where I earned £5.75, again, I remember sitting down at the end of a shift and thinking, holy shit, on the way in, I got a blueberry muffin from Nero and a coffee. That was £4. I went to Boots for a meal deal, which is pretty cheap actually, probably about £3.50 or something like that at dinner. I got the bus there and back, so my bus fare was like £4 or something like that. And then on the way home, I'd get like, a bottle or whatever out the vending machine. I remember sitting there going, I'm spending £15 a day getting to work and on food. And that's 3 hours wages during that day where I'm not getting paid. So I started just getting packed lunch, making my own sandwiches. Admittedly, I'd ate most of them on the bus on the way there before I even got to work. But yeah, you've got to look at where you're throwing money away. Honestly, like, it's so easy to do. People will be like, oh, Spotlight's £15 a month by direct debit. Oh, that's quite a lot. But then they'll spend that practically on a foot-long Subway, a cookie and a drink. Where are your priorities lying? You're getting it all wrong. And until you invest in yourself and your career, you're never going to earn enough money to be able to afford that whenever you want it. So you've got to prioritize yourself, like investing in yourself and your own development, in all areas of your life. Right. I'm in New York City looking to move to London, says Danielle. Danielle, wow, I want to live in New York for a bit. We'll just swap. Houses for a little while. I've only been to New York once, but it was absolutely freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. I just love it. Absolutely love it. It must be like crazy to live there. But it'll be normal for you. So not normal for us. If you do come over to London, we've got hundreds of members in the Acts on This community in London. We do like in-person meetups. If you need any help, I mean, this entire community and this entire site is based around people working in the UK TV and film industry. So come and get involved. If you've not got membership to the site, try it out for a month, check it out, come and join some of the Zoom calls. We'll introduce you to some of the top casting directors in the UK, and we've got a whole community here, supporting you if you do come over. We've got lots of members. Sandra from Germany's coming over in September to the UK. I know there's a lot of people going to be making sure that, she gets a good tour of the well, not of the whole of the UK. I think Manchester she's coming to, but also gets introduced to the industry over here. So Danielle, if you ever come over the pond, let us know. And Tony, if you're still here from Chicago, you need to get your backside over to the UK as well. Last but not least, right, I had Stephen Graham, probably one of the best actors in the world. Hannah Walters, incredible actress. I had, who else did I have on? The director, Lewis Arnold, the head of BBC Drama, Tom Sherry. I had James Nelson Joyce, great actor. Jonathan Harden, great actor as well. All from BBC One's Time. If you've been watching Time, finished about a week ago. It was a 3-part prison drama. It's had the highest viewing figures in the UK so far in 2021. An incredible show starring Sean Bean and Stephen Graham. Whole host of other great actors. I did a like a round table, like pre-recorded Zoom chat with all of these guys. It's 2.5 hours long about how they made the show, the pitfalls, the triumphs, everything to do with making an absolute killer show. If you go to actonthis.tv/time, you can watch the whole thing for free, even if you're not a member. If you're like, should I become a member? I want to see what these things are like. Go to actonthis.tv/time and watch that session. I guarantee you'll want a membership straight away as soon as you've watched it. We do that every single week. Except the difference is that's a pre-recorded call. You would be live with our guests every week if you become a member and you actually jump on the Zoom call yourself. I'm going to play a clip out to finish from Stephen Graham talking about the work. And again, ties in what I was just saying about investing in yourself. Do the freaking work. You got one life, right? Don't. Oh, God, it kind of like makes me a bit mad when I think about myself like this sometimes. I get a bit angry at myself where I feel I've held back on something. And I'm like, you're going to die one day, Ross. What is the point in not going after what you want? I mean, it's over. It's done. Anything you could possibly be embarrassed about, have anxiety about, scared about a no, scared about any people's opinions about you, it's all bullshit. None of it matters at all. And this clip kind of just backs up that. Do the work. Put in the time. If you want something, it's available. For those people who work the hardest and are patient, that makes you dangerous. Couple hard work with patience, you become a dangerous actor, because most actors have patience and don't work hard, or they work hard but they've got no patience, so they just give up. Claire Fox says, it was brilliant. Claire, I saw your tweet. I need a reply if I haven't already. I try and reply to everyone's tweets. It's difficult sometimes. But yeah, I saw you really enjoyed the chat with Stephen and the cast. But I'm going to finish with that. If you're watching live, thank you so much for being here. If you are on the replay, leave me a hashtag replay. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment. If you're watching on Twitter or you're listening on the audio experience, just tweet me at ActOnThisTV. I would love to know where you are listening from. Come and join me for this training this Saturday morning, totally free. It's going to be happening on Saturday, the 3rd of July, 10 a.m. Go to actonthis.tv/training if you want to get your free place. Go to actonthis.tv/time if you want to watch the full interview that I'm going to show you a clip of right now. And go to actonthis.tv/live if you want to see the live schedule of calls that are coming up for members. But yeah, come and join. Honestly, give this community a couple of months of your life and let me show you how impactful it can be. Kelly, thank you. Zoe, thank you. Maya, how you doing? I hope you are good. Maya, I fell asleep when you were messaging me the other night on Facebook, and if I didn't reply, I think one of your last messages was it was Friday night, and I was like, I'm having a Malibu and Coke, and Maya was like, oh, it just makes me go to sleep. And then I think I fell asleep shortly after that. So if I didn't reply, apologies. It's been a long day, definitely. Right, I'm going to play this clip. This will inspire you. This is all about doing the freaking work. And I want to see you tomorrow night as well with our chat with Mildred from United Agents. If you are looking for an agent and you are scared of approaching the best of the best, let me demystify it all for you tomorrow night at 7:30. This is some cracking advice. I'll leave you with this. Thanks ever so much for joining us, and I'll catch you with you soon. Until next time, lots of love to everybody. Bye for now. Lewis has shared with me that you have this special folder, that's got loads of magical notes in it.
Stephen does the work, and what's great is every time you talk to him about a scene, he has every scene broken down, and so you can actually have really good conversations about, and not just his words, but the scene. And I think it's that thing I was saying about Dennis Hopper and Francis Ford Coppola. It's like, you can't throw it away unless you've fucking done the work. And I don't think enough people do the work, is the reality.
The essence with a folder as well is, primarily, for me, it's purely functional because of my dyslexia. I'll read the whole script, and we can talk about the script, and I find my way into my character and what moments is for what moments and what's kind of happening throughout the journey. But then it's a technique that me and Hannah kind of, and it's not just me that does it. I know a few other people do it, but I develop it where I break it down for me in bite-sized chunks, so I know exactly what I'm shooting on what specific day. And it's also, as James will back me up as well, because if you've got a couple of big days on the bounce, it's no good like having it all in your head. It's good to have it roughly there, but as soon as we finish work, I'm going back to my hotel room to sit and learn them lines for the next day.
Yeah.
So when I come into the next day, I'm ready to fucking go. And look, I understand it, and no different actors have their own techniques, and I respect all of them. But as the governor just said there, what Lewis was saying, you can't really come into play. If I'm coming in, if me and James are in a scene with someone, and we've spent the good 3 hours last night, 2 hours, whatever, learning our lines, and we come in separately, we come in and someone's just picking up the script to kind of find their lines. He's going to put us all back. If I was to give any kind of advice to any young actor, or not even young actor, any actor, is do your work, because you need to do the work in order to make it look like you don't do the work.